Hi, this is Paula.
And I'm Joseph, and you're listening to Life Lived Better.
Hey, everybody. I am so glad you are joining us in this first episode of season 2, where we are going to talk about the 5 love languages, written almost 30 years ago by Gary Chapman, if you can believe it has been that long.
Wow, I can't. It's such a great book. I love it.
I do too. And kind of timeless. I think it still holds up today like it did whenever it first came out.
Absolutely. It's definitely one that I've read, I don't even know, probably half a dozen times. And I also have my clients read it. A lot of the couples that I work with, I'll have them go through because the book is really great. It's super small. It's like, I think, 180 pages. Very, very easy read. And the thing I love about it for couples is that it has little exercises at the end of each chapter that you can do together to help kind of identify what your love language is.
I love that. And what I like is that it's wonderful for couples, but it doesn't have to be a couple relationship to benefit from it. I think
Absolutely.
anyone can. Now, he does have some other resources and some other books where, you can do it for kids and you can do it. He even has some stuff for doing it with people that you work with and such. But I have my students do it in my group counseling class. So throughout the semester, they will be aware of how to support one another in a language in which the person they're trying to support accepts or understands. I
I
love
love that.
that.
And I think you said there was one on anger and there was one
Mhm.
on like coworkers.
Coworkers, and he even gets like down into the weeds with like um, military coworkers, employees,
Wow.
employers, like what lots of I think ministers. I mean, he breaks it down where you can use the resources for just so much.
Yeah, I recommend it for if you're in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, I think it's something that everybody can benefit from and learn from, and it applies to lots of different relationships, just like you said.
Absolutely. And hey, like everyone has an app for stuff now. The book has an app. It's called the Love Nudge, and it's supposed to help us. It's like the official app for the 5 love languages, but it's supposed to give us like a little nudge, like it says on, hey, don't forget about this and that. And who doesn't need a reminder for things today? Unfortunately, we just get so busy. I think it's important to have, why not, to be reminded one more time of something important. His website has the most amazing resources. He has links to podcasts he does on like the love languages, building relationships. But the thing I absolutely love is there is a gift guide that will filter gift ideas by a person's love language.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, I'm telling you. You want
Sorry.
me to tell you what to get Polo for the next holiday?
Does it tell you that?
Yeah.
Because he's hard to buy for.
He definitely, you can say, you filter it through the love language that is highest. So maybe I can see if the gift guide works. We'll pick a holiday and you tell me what your love language is
Okay.
and
Well,
I'll
let's go
filter
through
it
the love.
down. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's go through the love languages so
Yeah.
people know what the heck we're talking about.
So I guess to start, we should explain like what is a love language? What does that even mean?
So my take on a love language basically is how you receive love. So everybody receives love differently, and you typically show love through your specific love language. So there are 5 love languages that the book identifies, and we're going to kind of go through those. And there's also a quiz online that you can take to figure out exactly what your love language is. And you can be a little bit of all of these things, but you're going to have more of a dominant language in one of them, basically. So
Right. And the quiz results break it down to the percentage of each that you are.
yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty interesting questions that it asked you in order to get to your response. And I was a little surprised by mine, honestly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we're jumping ahead. Let's let's get to what the love languages are. So out of the 5 love languages, one of them is words of affirmations.
I love that. It's just using messages to express your love to the other person. And I think of this of like when my son was little, once in a while, I'd put a little note in his lunch bag back before he would be embarrassed of that, and I used to love to use dry erase markers, like to write on my son or my husband's bathroom mirror, just write sweet messages to them or, affirmations to them. Something I learned in child development that I just always remember is something called super praise. And
Uh-huh.
that's when you praise a person in front of another person. So you like you make sure that the person you're praising is within earshot or they're in the same room and you just go, I got to tell you, Joseph, I am so proud of Mary. Did you know that she just got a promotion at work and she didn't even apply for it? They just gave it to her because she's accomplishing, she's doing so well. That's called super praise.
Nice.
So the next one is quality time.
Yeah, so quality time, I think, is, to me, I think of just being with each other, just sitting next to each other, putting your devices down, putting your phones down, and just being present with one another,
Mm.
sharing experiences together, like doing things together, doing activities together, just making sure that when you get time together, that you're just really focused on the other person, practicing eye contact, trying to limit distractions, listening and sharing your feelings and your thoughts with one another, and just really being actively aware of kind of what's going on and being present, participating in the conversations.
Not as easy with all of our gadgets, I bet.
Right? That's the hardest thing, is putting down our devices. And now with, I don't know about you, with this is crazy to me, but I literally have like phantom vibrations in my pocket. Like my
Hmm.
phone cannot even be in my pocket and I will feel it vibrate because I'm just
Yes.
so used to like notifications and things coming through.
Hmm.
And when you hear the ding or you hear the vibration, even when it's, face down or in another part of the room, it's like it triggers this part of your brain that just lights up and you just get anxious and need to check it.
It's
So,
Pavlovian. I mean, it's
yeah,
like the salivating dogs. It really
absolutely.
is,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
So that's quality time. The next one, kind of similar, I think, a little bit, and that is acts of service.
Acts of service. I've got a lot of examples of acts of service because I do this one a lot. And it's just helping somebody, like, being of assistance or support with physical acts. Like, I've said so many times before, I love to clean bathrooms. So
Mm,
I clean the bathrooms in the whole house, and I love it. It's kind of a win win. My family, each one of them gets their bathroom cleaned, and I get the little thing I like because I like cleaning it. I also, things like, on your way home from work or when you're out, you just pick something up because, that's someone's favorite snack and you see it. So you just grab it for them. Or another thing I think about is like my son is going to go somewhere on a Friday night and he hangs his shirt up in the laundry room. So it's there to be ready. And if I see it and I'm not busy, I'll iron it for him. So, he
nice.
has it ready. My husband does this. He fills my car up with gas a
Mm,
lot. And
I love
these are
that.
just nice things that you do for someone that they had on their list of chores to do for themselves. You just do it for them.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that too. This weekend, I was at my parents' and Polo actually, I saw motion on our security camera and I clicked on it and he was mowing the yard, which
oh,
meant the world to me because normally I take care of the yard and we are so, so busy this week. And so the fact that he could do that just really meant the world to me.
that's so cool. He was
Yeah.
going to surprise you, and your little motion detector caught him in the act.
Something else that you do, which I love, is, well, one, every time you've ever come to my office, I think you've brought me a gift, which is super sweet and totally unnecessary, but you do the best like gift baskets. And I know that's something that you really enjoy, but that is definitely something I would say falls into our next one, which is like tangible gifts. So,
I guess they would. I guess they could fall into acts of service too. I guess
yeah,
maybe both, maybe
yeah,
both.
yeah.
But physical gifts, just like a token of, a token of your expression, an actual physical gift. I guess a gift basket could even like a little greeting card in the mail, which
Hmm.
I absolutely love. I tell my students, like, if somebody writes you a letter of recommendation, of course, thank them by email. But if you can do it, just get a little card, just a tiny little blank card, and write a little thank you inside of it and mail it to them, because
Hmm.
we don't get that kind of mail very often. And most people who get a little thank you note or just a thinking of you note, it means a lot to them because we don't get them as often anymore. They'll probably like pin it up on their bulletin board, which will make you stand out more to them than if you had just sent the email, just because of human, just how we are as humans. Emails come and we appreciate them, but then we go to the next one.
Hmm.
And not to give people gifts, to manipulate them in some way, but just if you can remember, and if you are the kind of person that does that, it's a neat little pick me up. I
Yep.
think another thing that's important, if people do like actual gifts, that's their way of receiving love. I like to remember when someone says like they want or love something, and
Hmm.
then I can pick it up and like give it to them in the future, for some sort of occasion that's coming up.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just paying attention.
I sometimes don't know what to get people when something comes up. So if you
Hmm.
can kind of listen to them as they're talking, you'll get all kinds of ideas.
Yeah. And it could be something like if it's an employee, it could be giving them some time off, giving them a day off,
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
yeah.
Employers, are you listening?
Yeah, so I'm my own boss, so I just need to practice giving myself time
Mm,
off,
yeah,
which is the
exactly.
most difficult thing.
Absolutely, especially self-employment.
It's a challenge.
And so the final love language is physical touch, and just as it implies, actual contact.
Holding hands, hugs, sitting
Yes.
together. My husband is very, very much a physical touch person, so like being in the car next to each other, just holding his hand or having my hand on his leg just means the world to him.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I've shared this, but like when we're watching TV, we have media chairs, so there's dividers between us, but he'll throw his leg over and I'll put my hand on his foot. Like those are things that mean a lot to him and something that's definitely I recognize as his love language.
Mhm. And that doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't take money. It's just
Mm-mm.
touching someone.
Yeah,
That's a free one.
absolutely.
And physical touch is important. I mean, part of the reason like people in prison struggle is there's no physical touch.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people, babies that are given up for adoption and left in orphanages, they suffer from something called failure to thrive, and it's
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't touched enough. I
Yeah.
mean, so we can't forget how important it is. I'm sure people struggled with that a lot with the closures and stuff during COVID, of just not being around other people just to put your hands on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm finding myself working a lot with adolescents is that failure to thrive during COVID, just lacking the social interaction and activities. So, it's a real thing and physical touch is something that we need from birth.
Some of us do, at least. Which kind of brings me to the results of our quiz.
Yes,
You got
let's
to
get into
tell me.
that.
You got to tell me your top one. What was your highest
So my
percentage?
top one, which I was a little surprised about, is acts of service.
Mine too.
Really?
How high was your percentage?
33%.
Wow, and mine was 40. It didn't surprise me. But
No.
I've always I've always loved doing things. I'm just kind of always a doer. I like doing things for people, and
Mm-hmm.
I receive love when someone does something for me. It means the world to me. It
Mm-hmm.
just like Polo mowing the lawn. That's a perfect example of acts of
Yeah.
service. It
Yep.
was on your list. Y'all were going to be busy, so he took care of it. And
Definitely.
I could hear it in your voice, and I could see it in your eyes when you talked about it. Like, it did mean a lot. It meant
And
more than he probably even knows.
yeah, it really did. Really did. And what was your number two?
My number two was quality time at 27%.
Okay. Mine was physical touch at 20%.
Okay, so that's high up on your list.
Mm-hmm.
So Polo's is his first one, is your second one, which is probably really good in y'all's relationship, that's important to both of you. So you don't have to, it's not as much of an effort
Mm-hmm.
to for physical touch.
Well, so my next one was words of affirmation. I got 17% on that. Receiving gifts, I also got 17%. And then quality time, I got 13%. So apparently that's very low. on my list of important things.
That's- my lowest one was a 0%. So I'm
On
tempted to redo mine. Unfortunately, physical touch. Apparently,
okay.
I can survive without it. I
That's
don't.
funny.
That's a whole lot. I mean, I wish that I would have done this prior to COVID to see if that's changed in any way, but
Mm,
I don't have prior results.
good point.
Oh my,
So
well,
that's funny. So I think one of the reasons this quiz is so great is because it helps us understand what our love language is. And if you do it with your partner, then you then know what their love language is. And so we can all kind of guess at what our partner's love languages are, but this is kind of a cool tool to actually like confirm that.
mm-hmm,
And the reason why it's important is because, like, the book talks about our love tanks. So it says our love tanks get low, meaning we are acting in a way and showing love in a way that our partner is not receiving it. So, for example, if my 33% is acts of service, Polo's is physical touch. So he's going to give me physical touch as his way of showing me that he loves me.
mm-hmm.
But if he were to do an act of service like mowing the yard, that's something that, according to this quiz, means more to me than physical touch,
That's
and vice
so
versa.
important.
Yeah. So if I know what his love language is, then I can do something simple like holding his hand or putting my hand on his leg when we're in the car, things like that that mean a lot to him. And that way his love tank is getting refueled. And, when he's acting out of service for me, then that's something that I recognize. So the book also gives a example of a story in the book, and it talks about this married couple that basically is sitting in a divorce attorney's office, and they're going through the process, and the man says to the woman, like, I don't understand how this is happening. Like, I have done everything, I've given you everything. We have the vacation homes, we have the cars, we have the ATVs, we have all the stuff, all of the things. And the wife says to him, none of that meant anything to me. Like, all I wanted was to have you around, to have time with you, for you to spend time with our children, for you to be present in our home. And we never experienced that. We didn't get that. So his love language was gifts and hers was quality time. He was
Yeah.
doing everything in his power to show her that he loved her in a way that she was not able to receive.
I hear that from clients. Sometimes they say, like, when I was growing up, my parents used to give me everything. Like, they thought giving me material things that they could buy my love, but they were never home.
Hmm.
And that's what I hear in that a lot is like, I think our parents think that they are showing us love. I don't think parents, intentionally ever like do things with, don't show kids that they care.
Hmm.
And that's a great example is they just didn't know that what they were doing wasn't what the person needed.
Yeah. When you know more, you can do better. And so something as simple as hopping online and taking this little quiz can make a huge impact, you
It
know?
really could.
I always think about my parents and kind of growing up in my household. My dad was very much the provider. He was there in a way that he took care of the bills. We always had a roof over our head. We didn't have to worry about things like that. I don't remember him ever saying, I love you. I don't remember him really doing hugs. And now, since he's retired, like, he says, I love you, and he gives hugs. And it's still a little awkward for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it means a lot. And, it's just kind of that to me is an example of how sometimes I didn't recognize that growing up. I didn't recognize that him providing was his way of showing love. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought, he just wasn't the type of person that says, I love you, or, those kinds of things weren't important to him. But now, as I'm older, and now that I've kind of, read about the love languages and things and educated myself on that, I understand that his love language was acts of service. He would go and get my mom's oil changed for her, make sure that her tire pressure was all good if
Mm-hmm.
she was going to take a road trip, little things like that that meant a whole lot.
Yeah, he was making sure she was safe, that she
Hmm.
didn't have to get out and do her own gas, that she would be okay on the road. And that's so, I mean, that's to me, that's so much like men of his generation. I
Hmm.
think that was an expectation that they did like work and provide and do the manly quote unquote things.
Hmm.
And a female could live in a relationship like that for years and not feel loved by her husband because maybe she liked the physical touch or the quality time.
Hmm.
And if they both just knew, because I bet, like, with your dad, he was thinking, man, I'm working real hard here to show my family how much I love them. That's
Right.
so important, I think. Yeah. How long did it take you to do this quiz?
Not long at all. I mean, just a few minutes, probably less than 5 minutes.
So that's all it would take for us to know. And then once we know, we have to actually do it.
Right. Right.
I know it's hard to do something that's out of the thing that's like comes most easy to us. But if we care about the people that we say we care about and love and, live with, then we will have to make some adjustments.
Right. And why wouldn't you? Like if if you're invested in your relationship, why would you not want to invest your time in things that your partner's going to recognize and realize and feel as love, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know why you wouldn't want to if you love the person.
Right. So it's a very easy, quick quiz that can make a huge impact. And the book, again, one of the best books I've read. I've read it, 6 times at least. And every time I read it, I get something different out of it. But it gives some really great examples. It really kind of breaks all of this down really well. And, to me, it's kind of weird like that, using the example with my dad again, the acts of service. It's when I say that out loud and I hear that, I think, how could somebody not recognize that as love? Because if that was his love language, obviously he felt he was showing love in that way. But when you look at these different love languages and you look at, how someone could be doing all that they can in these areas where they feel love, how could the other person not get it? How could they not feel it? But for whatever reason, there's just a disconnect when it comes to love, I think,
Hmm.
in that, if we're not getting it met in a way that we fully register it, then it just kind of becomes almost like this. The word that's coming to mind is resentment,
Hmm.
like something that becomes, you don't love me kind of things, or, you don't care about me, those kinds of messages you start to hear. And that can just be a simple disconnect that's happening.
Absolutely. Because the person that's hearing you don't care about me, they're thinking, what else can I do?
Right.
Look at everything I'm doing. And the
Mm-hmm.
person that's feeling unloved, they're like, you are never home. You never
Mm-hmm.
spend time. Well, no, because I'm out working, giving you all these things that
Right.
I think so it could save somebody's relationship. It could change a family's direction if they would just do this quiz and understand, oh, that's how you show love. Oh, that's how you want to be shown love.
Mm-hmm.
Then make the little change. Well,
Yeah.
why don't we see if it works? Let's look at this gift guide. Let's see. So you're my friend, and it's Valentine's Day. So I want to give my friend a gift. So your gift was, I mean, your number one love language was acts of service. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
push acts of service, and two things come up. One of them is a coupon book. I think you have once said that would be a great gift to give somebody, as a
I
coupon
have.
book
I
for,
have.
let's go on a movie date. Let's do this thing. And the other one was a candy buffet. So
Do
let's
love
look
me
at,
some candy.
I'm telling. So the example here is, so you set up a small candy buffet for your kids, your spouse, your friends. The next time you have a little get together, and you're like the little server. So they come up and you build them a little. They tell you which one they want, and you put it in their little bag. That's cute. I
That's
mean,
so
that's
bizarre
cool.
because I mean, I love candy.
Yeah,
I love
I do
sweets. I
too.
often say sugar is my drug of choice, but that is definitely something that would mean a lot to me.
Hmm. So the person that physical touch is theirs. So you do a cooking class. I want to understand this. So you take a cooking class together. Okay. So there you are. You're side by side,
Mm,
and make sure while you're doing this that you touch them, while you're in the middle of it. Plus, y'all are side by side for this class.
hmm.
Another one is a bath bomb. So you give them some kind of a gift that will get into their senses, so
Hmm.
give them a bath bomb and a moisturizer. And I guess if you're romantic, you can kind of explore that one a little more, touchy feely kind of way,
Right.
beyond beyond just giving them the gift. Maybe y'all can use it together, and
Right.
there's physical touch that happens there.
Mhm.
Let's do one more. Let's see, a romantic partner, and they like words of affirmation, and it's Valentine's Day. So you give them a gift of like a bracelet that says something on it that reminds them of the thing that they need to hear, like you're not alone, or togetherness, something that will mean something for them. An
Yeah.
affirmation jar that's just full of notes that you've written. Oh my gosh, that would
That's
be
a great
amazing, wouldn't
idea.
it?
Yeah.
Those yard signs that are all over the place, they give that as an idea. Yeah, if people like words of affirmation, waking up to a big, huge sign in the yard from you would probably say something, wouldn't it?
That's a great idea.
I love those. What a neat idea. So not only like go on this website and do the quiz to find out your love language and encourage the person and people you love to do it so you can find out theirs, but heck, go get a gift idea in the how incredible is that, that you could give a gift that hits the spot the next time, like actually makes the mark, do you spent a lot of time giving gifts to people that it's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know.
Hmm.
So God, I
Yeah.
love that.
I do too. Great, great tool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget that knowledge leads to a life lived better. Thank you for listening to Life Lived Better with Paula and Joseph.
Here at the Life Live Better podcast, we are true believers in the quality of Anchor by Spotify. We have been using Anchor since we first started our podcast, and now that we're halfway through our second season, we cannot imagine recording this podcast without it. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and then edit your podcast right from your computer or even your phone. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on all the listening platforms, like even Spotify and Apple. It's everything you need to make your podcast, and you can find it all in one place. But best of all, and oh so necessary when you're first starting out, it is completely free. So give it a try. Go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm right now and get started.
Yay!